Hello. Oh my God. That is amazing, Ben. The trick is if we want to get them on the recording, I think we need them to make sound at some point. I'll have to get crazy with my mic.
We can do that. I don't think you actually want that. So that's pretty
How's everybody doing? Are my speakers actually working?
They're working just fine.
Okay, my speakers are working. My microphone was working. Now my speakers are working.
Wait, are you two playing the Bob and Jeff game? Are you in the same room at the same time?
Oh my God, it's amazing, right?
It's also the Hannes and Maria game.
Oh my gosh, I never noticed. Well, now I have to do this.
nice.
Okay, for everyone who's not playing the game but wants to instead fill their name on the meeting notes, I just pasted them in chat. Let's see. So I'm going to be the host. Does somebody here want to volunteer to be note taker for this? Thank you, Tim. Tim Pepper, you are my hero. So I'll do the doodly do because it's now 10:02 my time. So hi, everybody. Today is Friday, March 15th. You are at the Kubernetes 114 Burndown meeting with your host, Aaron of Sig-Beard. And we're all being recorded and adhering to the Kubernetes code of conduct. So we're all not being jerks and we can watch ourselves not be jerks on YouTube later. All right. So I think I'm mostly recovered from whatever plague took me out for most of this week. It's been an exciting week. Let's start with Claire to update us on enhancements.
Yes. So we have 31 enhancements being slated for 114. This is a change from Wednesday, but nothing has actually been added. This is just natural human error that occurs when there is no automation to help the humans do things like count.
Yay. Thank you for reconciling that, Claire. Maria, would you like to explain why your current status is all of the colors for CI signal?
Whoops. How's this? There isn't a lot of news since yesterday. We have the Ingress job is failing in both master blocking and 114 blocking. It has been failing for a couple of days now. And it has a PR open that is being actively worked on. It seems to be close to LGTM. So I'm not feeling particularly anxious yet on that one. And then the two failing master upgrade jobs are, to the best of, as far as we can tell, related to the Golang regression, and we hope to see them resolve with the move to 112.1. These are the main things that I'm keeping an eye on. And then we have a number of open issues for Flakes that have had fairly good response. We're very grateful to all SIGs. Particularly storage has been very, very responsive with issues. So flake rates have dropped compared to a week or a couple of weeks ago. Some jobs are still quite flaky, but we're definitely seeing improvement, which is quite nice to see. These are all the news that I had. Were there any questions or anything I've missed out
on? I guess I'm feeling a little bothered by the fact that Ingress is still hanging out there. I agree with you, it is still kind of being worked, but it feels slow and it feels like it's been blocked for a while. I will try to see if there's anybody I can physically tap on the shoulder today.
Sure.
To push
yeah.
this forward. Because I just the sort of thing where like I feel like that's been the update for ingress for a couple days in a row now.
Yeah, and the thing that makes me a little bit nervous is if this does not solve all the problems, then we don't have a lot of time left to resolve anything additional.
Yes, I share that concern. And so just to be clear, do you feel as though the upgrade test failures are basically all related to what we hope is Go 1.12.1 fixing us? Do you think Go 1.12.1 will fix, or do we think that's going to address the majority of the failures here, or do we feel like there are other upgrade job failures that we should be investigating?
So all the things that are failing seem to be related to that issue. There are 3 tests: the diff resources, the load balancing rules, firewall rules for SIG networking, and then some resource usage. I think a resource usage test for SIG node. These were the ones that had problems, and all of these have been triaged to the upgrade failing midway, which was then triaged to the 1.12 regression. There are upgrade tests are flakier than non-upgrades, I guess. So that's a whole other track of work that we're looking at. But again, I'm not seeing any other consistent failures that we haven't connected to 1.12.
Okay. At the end of the day, the upgrade tests are interpreted by humans for a decision on blocking or not blocking, is my understanding of the way Anago works. And so, we can get that to where we can get it. And then at some point, I believe that my attention is going to turn back to, can we actually are the flake rates good enough that we can get 3 passes in a row where we need that to happen? So then that falls through to the ingress job, and then that falls back over to the flakiness of the default TV job.
For just another note, that for the ones that we think are flaking because of the 1.12 regression, we're also tracking a somewhat equivalent tests in the SIG's dashboard, so outside sig-release.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for that update.
Not a problem.
See progress there. Let's move on to Nico to talk to us about bug triage.
Nico is not here today, so I will try to do a report.
Thanks,
So
Marco.
far, the current status is okay. We are around green, yellow. Compared to yesterday, we have some more open issues at PR. About issues, we are around 7 now, and about 8 for PRs. The most important, maybe one of the most important PRs about going to Go 1.12.1 is going forward. And we have posted a list of all remaining PRs for this cycle. So it is okay for now. If there are any question, let me know and I can try to answer.
Okay. I think that sounds good. It's going to be important to remind people that if we are in fact going to raise or go through code thaw by end of day Tuesday, the hope is that all of these 8 outstanding PRs are going to be merged before then, because otherwise they're going to be competing with the horde of PRs that are not in the 114 milestone but are mergeable. I don't have a count for how many PRs that is right now, but it's kind of important that if these PRs really have to get into 114, that they merge before code thaw on Tuesday. So if we haven't, we should be poking people daily, assuming we're doing that. Great. I poked a couple of these yesterday, and we'll try to follow up here to help out. But if you feel like you are finding PRs that are not responsive, please do escalate those here on Monday, or escalate them in the sig-release channel as appropriate.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. All right. Thanks for that, Marco. Over to Amit to talk to us about test infra.
Yeah, so just a quick update from test infra. We merged only 8 PRs in the last 2 days, which is a good sign that we aren't going full speed ahead after code freeze. And then the Go 112.1 image should be out today, hopefully. I just checked, it's not out yet. So, but the Bazel rules Go changes are in. So we are just waiting for the official Docker image to be published. And after that, I'll do the needful for pushing the test images.
Okay. Thank you for that, Dims. I was just going to ask, like, do we know what we should be watching for information on that? All right. Thanks for that PR. Tim, if you can drop that in the notes. Let's see. Moving on to Jim. Let's talk about docs.
Thanks, Aaron. So everything's looking good. We're currently in review mode. I got a meeting with the Shadows later on today to rally the troops before the weekend. We should get everything in by Monday. That's when the deadline is to have everything ready to merge. And also I wanted to announce that I've nominated a lead for the 115 docs role. It's Barney, and Barney's been awesome and been on the past 2 release cycles with us. So welcome, Barney, and that's all I got.
Awesome. Welcome, Barney. Yay, golf clap. Nominations for the next team are awesome. Release notes. Jeff.
Yep. Dave had to go for a quick family emergency, nothing too bad. So we have a new PR in for the current draft for release notes, and it is essentially a copy pasta from the current working doc, which I have linked in the team meeting notes. That working doc is what we're working off of right now. That's where we're pulling in new changes and putting them, and that's where the editorial part of release notes is happening. So we are all good to go. Things are moving along smoothly.
That is good to hear. Okay. Caitlin, are you here to talk to us about comms today?
Yeah, we are. We're still on track. No major updates. We're just waiting on 2 additional reviews / approvals from sig-release, and then we'll start our media pitching next week.
Okay. Can you remind me of the deadline for the key messages document for media?
Let me check. But I would say by Monday or Tuesday of next week would be great if that is not what I have on my doc.
Okay. I have it in my head as Tuesday, but I'm not sure if that's reality or me hoping that it's Tuesday.
Yeah, let me just confirm on it, and I'll ping you on Slack.
Okay.
The other thing too, if you can just like drop bullet points in there, we can also finesse that on our side, if that helps you at all timing wise.
Yes, understood. I have been trying to here or there. Claire, I may reach out to you to get your perspective as the enhancements lead for some of the messaging. For me, it's a matter of the time to generate content, not so much massaging it. I know we'll get there.
Awesome. And you were correct. It's Tuesday.
Okay. End of day Tuesday or?
That should be fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification, Caitlin. Super excited we're getting our message aligned. Hannes, sounds like we have a release candidate coming up.
Yeah, release candidate is planned for next week's Tuesday, but as said, I'm flexible on that. We can move it a bit around if need be. That's basically it. Not much else from the branch management over here.
Okay. Oh, look, my current status is also all of the colors. I should probably do something about that real fast. My status remains at yellow. I mean, I guess I am wearing like yellow and red and green on my shirt, so maybe I should change it back. But I feel I'm feeling good and hopeful and optimistic that the Go 112 change will help us out. I feel like if we're going to make a call about code thaw being pushed back, we're going to make that decision on Monday. that decision is going to be made either because we couldn't get far enough along with Go 1.12.1, or we did get far enough along, but it has not actually resolved problems to our satisfaction. So I'm really hopeful that we can get that landed so we can sort of let the test soak for a while this weekend. In order for that to happen, Hannes, we may need, like, just randomly, in case, we might need some more fast forwarding today to help out with that. Is that cool with you?
That's in general cool with me. It might be that I cannot respond in real time, but I will try my best to do stuff as soon as possible.
Okay. We can rally around that Go 1.12.1 issue to see, like, if there are any outstanding PRs that we would need to be fast forwarded, to give you a sense of, like, why we're having you be available and when we no longer need your services.
Yeah, best is just let's do that on the sig-release Slack channel.
Yes.
We will see how it goes.
Okay. Hi. I need to make a case here. We cannot do RC1 with 1.12.0. We either have to go back or we have to go forward.
Correct.
So
I agree with that. So basically, I'm suggesting that cutting of the RC is pretty much tied up with code thaw as well. I want the RC to represent the code as best as we understand it without any additional cherry picks, because hopefully we don't even need any. It should actually be what we're going to have go out the door. And so I want us to understand which version of Go we're using to build it before we make that decision. And
right. And I'm not quite sure whether we'll get the Docker image today. Amit, do you know for sure we'll get it because you're working behind the scenes with someone, or we are just guessing?
I think we're just guessing at this point. From yesterday's conversation, I thought we'll be having something today.
Right. Yesterday I kind of missed a step. That was the problem. So rules.go, we planned for it, but then I forgot that we needed the official Docker image. So I think we need to plan to move the release candidate and the thaw a couple of days at least, so we can either go back or go forward. And if we don't get a 1.12.1 image today, and we get it on Monday early in the morning, then we'll still need a couple of days to try it out.
I agree with that. I feel like at this point, it's unclear to me how many days we would need to push it back. So I'm inclined to suggest that I message to Kubernetes dev that, heads up, we feel that a delay in code thaw is very possible, but we will not know for sure. We'll have more information available for you on Monday. Do you feel like that's a fair statement?
That's fair.
And we can spend some time hashing out exactly what that might look like. If maybe just that statement alone is enough, or maybe I need to provide some more detail. Because I guess it would be helpful to understand upper and lower bounds of what we're thinking about in terms of slippage there. One of the things that I find valuable is the idea of letting a build soak over the weekend. That's the most ideal way for us to get 3 green passes in a row. So things we could toy around with are things like shortening the window between code thaw and cherry picks, or maybe we squinch everything back by a day. Those are the things we can do to preserve letting things soak over the weekend, assuming we can get things clarified. Anyway, I guess we can talk about that offline.
Do you want to stay on after this call ends and go through the logistics ones, Aaron?
Yeah, I feel like that would be helpful.
Okay, let's do that.
And then I don't have it on open discussion, but I announced it in the channel, and y'all have seen an email go out to the Kubernetes release team mailing list, but I just wanted to say it again for this crowd. Claire Lawrence has helpfully, is she still here? Yes, there you are. She has helpfully accepted my nomination for release lead for 115. So Claire has done an amazing job this release cycle, and I can't wait to see what she does for the 115 release cycle. She will be helped out by Tim Pepper, who's already being super helpful by taking notes, and he will be serving as a release shadow for 115 alongside Claire. So I'm super excited for that. I also want to give a huge thanks to everybody who has followed up, either based on me posting in Slack or Steven sending out an email and suggesting your nominations for lead roles for your positions on that issue. I will open up a PR today based on the confirmed accepted things I see on that issue. This is the sort of thing where I can either leave the PR open until we get all the leads filled, or we can merge and iterate. We'll hash that out on that issue there. But thank you to everybody who's thought about succession planning and made decisions, or is having those conversations with their shadows right now. And I believe that is all that I have for this meeting. Okay, cool. If you want to stick around to talk logistics for the revert, you are free to do so. Otherwise, I think you are free to have a happy and wonderful Friday. Yay. Look at everybody drop.
Okay.
What are your thoughts, Dims?
So here is the problem. I'm going to be on a flight starting tomorrow night, and then I'll be in India for the week. So I'll be in India. I'll be reaching India only on Monday morning, which will be Sunday night. So I can still pop in to check on things. So that's the problem that I have with my own schedule. But I want to walk through what a revert would look like and plan for the worst case scenario.
Yes.
And that would be, I think we touched upon it yesterday in KubeCon EU, going back from, we have two sets to where we got now. One was going from 111.5 to 112.0. And then we were going to go from 112.0 to 112.1.
Right.
But then yesterday they did release 111.6, I think.
Okay.
So that is the other wrinkle. Do we go back to what we had before, or do we go back to the new 111x that came out yesterday? But then we'll have to find the images for that too and see if they are around. We don't know that. So that's another problem. So we need to identify the list of reverts, and then we have to kind of like prep for it. There are changes both in test infra as well as KK if we have to do the revert.
Right.
And the other PR that comes to mind is the XNet dependency. We need to walk back on that also.
Yes. I believe, weren't there also some GoVet related fixes?
Those shouldn't need to be walked back.
They don't need to be walked
It's
back?
just catching more bugs.
Okay.
Okay, so hopefully we won't have to touch the GoVet stuff, right, Ben?
Right, it was catching things like format strings that it didn't previously detect as not really being valid.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's the worst case scenario. We first publish. Do we need to publish a new cross image? Yes. If we are going to go back to 111.6, then we need to publish a kube cross image for it, and then That will be the change in KK, and then we go to test infra and change all the references to the kube cross image to that image, and then let it run.
So here's the thing, like I'm really disinclined to go back to 111.6 unless you can give me a good reason for it.
As opposed to .5 or?
Yeah, like if my preference would be if we're going to revert, let's actually revert to known behavior, then reverting to known behavior is 111.5. If we revert to 111.6, that's not really a revert, that's rolling to yet another version of Go whose performance characteristics we don't yet know.
We don't know. Yeah, agreed. So let me check what they have for the 111.6 release history. Fixes to Go, Go, compiler, linker, runtime, Go command. So whole enchilada. Okay, let me paste the milestone here for you guys to look.
I mean, my gut would be like, look, even if there are fixes in there that are meaningful, I don't know if it's appropriate. It's the sort of thing that maybe we could consider for a patch release. Do we change the patch version of Go that we use to build patch releases of Kubernetes?
We've had to.
Yes, sometimes.
Okay, so like, that's a possibility.
Yeah, the other issue here is the 111.6 might not be available. It might be available only at the same time as 112.1.
Right, I get that. That's why I'm like just trying to think of it as an option at all.
Right. Okay. So completely forget about 111.6 then.
Does anyone have any more details quickly on like what exactly regressed in 112?
Yes, I can. So there is a primitive called sync, right? Sync.once, which is used extensively. So that doesn't work in 112.0, and there was
it doesn't work at all.
Well, it's flaky.
Okay.
It's subtly flaky.
Yeah, and it only shows up in the upgrade job at this point. So what Lubomir and Justin figured out was, that it was failing. And then we looked at the Git repository for Golang, and we figured out there was a patch in flight. That's how we figured out that we needed to wait for 112.1. And that fix doesn't actually change the Go side of the things. It changes something deeper inside. Lubomir, do you want to talk about it a little bit?
So the problem is not only isolated to sync once, it's a generic problem with closures inside functions.
Okay.
And basically going 112.1 is ideal. And I think we should probably even delay Kubernetes because of this.
Right. So just to be explicit about the options we have, where I'm just like kind of agnostic about the change in general. So code thaw is currently scheduled for Tuesday, and then there's a 2-day window for any last minute cherry picks until end of day Thursday. And then that gives us Friday and all of the weekend for everything to soak and look nice and green. And then if we're happy with it, we get something out the door on Monday, March 25th. So the buffer we have here is we can shift everything back by a day. So code thaw could happen on Wednesday. And we still give ourselves that 2-day window between code thaw and leaving room for any last minute cherry picks. And then we still have the weekend to let things soak. We could also just really hope that there aren't any cherry picks needed whatsoever and shorten that window, so we could hold code thaw back until even like Thursday or Friday if we wanted to. That's not super ideal, but possible. And that still gives us that window of letting it run over the weekend. Any delays beyond that are going to start to have rippling implications for communications, because Monday is the communicated release date. We have 4 days in that week that we could slip back on if we had to, so that we can still say we've released Kubernetes at the end of Q1. but it's going to require a lot more communication legwork to make sure we're all aligned on the release date. Tim?
So by talking to the Golang folks, we got the 112.1 maybe a little sooner. Is there anybody that we can reach out to in terms of trying to make sure we get the Docker images like ASAP today versus just waiting and hoping?
Yeah, so I tried. There's two people on that I pinged on Twitter, but I don't know anybody else. And I pinged them on the pull request as well. So those are the two methods that I know of that I used already. But it might be just that they don't want to make a release on Friday, unless Ben knows somebody else.
Different thought. How difficult do we actually need to use their image?
No, that was the other thing that I was trying to come about. If we can hack kubectl to pull the exact 112.1 and replace the thing, then we'll have a lot more time over the weekend for everything to serve.
Or alternately, if whatever tooling is used to publish the Go image exists, we can push it somewhere with 112.1. I mean, building Go is pretty quick, and we can just point kubectl it basing on that. I mean, it's just like a Debian image that has Go built in it, right?
Right.
The next step is going to be to patch Go ourselves.
Perhaps, but I mean, we already maintain pretty extensive build images. An image that involves installing Go into a Docker image does not seem a hurdle for this project.
Aaron, my preference would be to leave the Docker file using Golang 112.0, but then pull the binary and lay it down on disk there, the 112.1 binary, and put that on disk there. I want to see if that is possible. If that is possible, then we'll have the whole weekend to run everything.
I say run with that. I'm still going to be vaguely uncomfortable about using that to cut our RC. But if that is solely in the name of giving us the necessary signal to decide whether we have a revert ahead of us or not, I agree that's the path we should take.
I mean, separately, if it takes us more than a week to get them to actually cut an image, then we have a problem depending on
Right, yeah, I have no idea what levers I can pull there. Maybe there are some available to me that I'm not aware of. So I can try to help from that angle, but I think you are right. In parallel, let's build an image that downloads the version of Go that we need, and see if we can get things compiled that way.
Okay, you and me, Ben, on this?
Sure.
Do you want to take a stab and run it by me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so and if that comes, then Amit, you will have to help publish the kubectl image.
Yeah, I can.
And then we'll just, if we do the kubectl image, then we just go the whole hog, test infra, and fix up all the kubectl references, and basically switch everything over to the new kubectl image and run things over the weekend.
And
Sounds
also,
good?
If we're depending on, never mind. I was gonna say that there's also the Bazel rules go stuff where it may even be quicker to like get some CI signal, potentially where we just say, use that tool chain, because that's already basically how it does it.
Yeah, the Bazel one, actually, most of the CI jobs passed. We tried on 2 different PRs, one from Jordan and one from me. So the Bazel stuff seems to work. It's just that we can't get the Bazel stuff easy enough on the upgrade job.
Right. Okay.
So that's a problem. So let's hack the Docker file for the cross image, and then.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
I would like to see that approach. I think in the meantime, I'm going to open up an issue that's equivalent to the 112.1 issue call it the 111.5 revert issue and make sure that we have the appropriate steps documented in there. Hopefully we don't have to use it, but at least that way the plan is out there. And I will also be sending something out to KDev today to give them a heads up that we may be pushing code thaw back by a couple of days, and we will have more information for them on that on Monday.
So Lubomir, how do you feel about this? Do you think this will work?
I'm seeing that the upgrade tests are very flaky.
Okay.
We're definitely doing something, but with that patch that Justin sent.
Okay.
So we are touching the right thing, but it feels to me like it's not solving the overall flakiness of the upgrade tests.
Understood.
Yeah, we're basically fixing it's a SIG abort in there.
Mm-hmm.
So we are fixing the actual exit of the test, but the flakiness, we're not fixing it by this.
Right. So then the only other question I had is, Hans, do you see Go references anywhere else in the release toolchain? Or is it just the test infra on the main cake repository?
I think it's just that, but I can check on that. I will check if there is something else hidden in Anago or somewhere.
Right. Okay.
Okay. My plea would be to continue to use the Go 112.1 issue as the rallying point for communication about the plans and next steps related to getting us on Go 112.1. So I think a lot of the stuff you articulated, Tim's, we can make sure that's in a comment on that issue. That'll help keep everybody on the same page. And
right. So we'll try this experiment, and then I can write up the rest of the things if the experiments don't work out in the
yeah, I think even
just
saying we're going to try this experiment because would be
yeah, that would be easy. Yeah, I'll write that up.
Yeah, and similarly, Hannes, if you find there are any references that we should be aware of, that would be a good place to let us know.
And just to confirm, that's issue 75372.
Let me write this down.
I
want to make sure it's in the notes so we're all rallying to the same place.
Yeah, the umbrella issue. Okay, sounds good.
75372.
Okay. Plan of record after the meeting today. Okay, I'll write it up after we drop off.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So yeah, sorry. Oh, one last question. Amit, until what time are you available today? So we can.
I mean, I'm available. I can work till whatever.
Okay. So Aaron and Ben know how to catch you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I get on a plane like 6, and I'm airported up for a little bit beforehand. So my availability gets weird in Pacific evening, but otherwise I will be available.
I might have things right this moment, but I'll be around today and tonight, and I know how to contact Amit.
Okay, sounds good.
Hannes, if you need help, I should have privs on things too on the branch management side of things if you want help on coverage or whatever.
For now, it's fine. I can let you know when I go to sleep or something so that people know. But other than that, it's fine.
Hey, you should get some sleep. Sleep is a really good thing. It's the only reason I'm like standing here right now today. Okay, thank you everybody for sticking around to talk about this super fun and adventuresome stuff. Can't wait to see it all work out. Happy Friday.